Oh, right. We just finished the record. Hi there, good peoples. This is vk3sl, and welcome to our test program. And I was just on the phone to Frank, and we're just getting things squared up. So I look forward to he'll be there in a minute, just getting organised. That was the Lost Serenade. It's a chapel disc, and we'll see what else. We'll find the other side. I'll put the other side on while we just get sorted here. Elizabethan Serenade. We did play this yesterday. It's by Ronald Binge. We need another binge. There's always a good reason for a binge on 160 and on UHF. I'm vk3sl testing. Take 2. I think we're there. Yes, we are. Elizabethan Serenade by Mr. Binge.
Sweet.
It is sweet, yes. Was that a particular theme music for something, Frank, I wonder?
Don't know. It sounds as though it should be, doesn't it?
It does. It sort of sounds very familiar. I don't know. Perhaps I just heard it somewhere in my youth and it stuck. But it's lovely. It's the Melody Light Orchestra on a chapel record.
Yeah.
And the side we played earlier was Lost Serenade by Leslie Coward. These are vinyl 78s. They're really flexible. I love these chapel records. I wish I had more of them. I've only got about 50 here. It'd be nice to have a big collection of chapel records.
Indeed. It was a big favourite. Elizabethan Serenade was a huge favourite of the late Ron Fisher, the Oscar Mike.
Oh, really? He liked it.
Who was well known to Mr. Stew.
Yes, of course.
And others.
Yes, indeed. I think he was an ABC man, wasn't he, at one point?
Indeed.
Yeah,
Indeed.
okay. Well, that's interesting. Yes, he probably heard it in the original context.
Oh, I'm sure he would have done. Yes.
It's good. Yay. All right. Well, here another sort of wet and sort of uneventful sort of day and away. Can't do much in the rain, but I think it's just going to clear up a bit later on. And,
Yeah.
and this week I'm hoping to get out to Thara River and I'm looking to hitch a ride there with a friend and someone I know, and then return with other friends. So we're trying to sort of square that up at the moment.
Sounds good.
But should be back on Friday, but not sure. So would a question mark over next Friday. In fact, probably not at all for the afternoon missions next Friday. I don't expect I'd be home by then. But the late night missions all maybe, yeah. So I'll let you know there, Frank, and listeners.
Sure, Steve. Well, I should be on hand.
Sure, and listeners can stand on by, and we'll just do what we can do during this. It's a sort of rather spontaneous month, really. Just sort of taking opportunities to get out and about.
Shouldn't be about obligation or anything like that.
Never. No, not at all. It's just just a happening thing. Hey, well, how was the cricket, Frank? Noisy. Okay. Didn't the match finish early or something? Yes.
No, it didn't. It finished about an over and a half early.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, it was the Victorian team lost.
Okay.
But it was good, and there were 30,000 people there.
Okay, sure.
And I had the customary hamburger and chips.
Ah, very good. Yes, yeah, that's right.
felt justifiably bad afterwards.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Was that a hamburger and chips or an indigestion burger?
I got the double indigestion burger, Frank.
You get value for money out of those because they keep repeating on you for days.
Yeah, boom. Very good. Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, we all have our indulgence, especially sports events. Yeah.
It was enjoyable. I went with my two sons and my older granddaughter.
Oh, really? Okay. And it was pretty warm yesterday afternoon.
It was very muggy there. Yes,
it
was.
It would have been.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, a bit of a sports happening. I think the last cricket match I went to was in 1981, and I was pretty young then, and it was on Boxing Day, and a cricketer did an underarm ball. It was, I think, one of the Chappell brothers.
Oh, that was a very famous match.
Yeah, and it was almost a riot because we were in Bay 13.
It was pretty infamous.
Yeah, and I remember that happened, and I thought, this isn't cricket.
That was the most strained Australia-New Zealand relationships have ever been.
Right, well.
War was considered.
Okay, these things happen on the pitch.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was a lot of consternation, and people were throwing ice, and it was pretty riotous behaviour. Yeah, but that was the last one. Yay. All right. Well, it's good to hear you two there, Mr. OP.
Yes, good.
And Happy New Year. I don't know if we've spoken
since. Happy New Year and good evening. I just walked in.
Okay.
Been out.
Sure. Oh, well, I've got a little bit of broadcast history here lined up. I was just going through a whole stack of acetates and dubbings.
Broadcast history, the test there, the last cricket test I went to was covering the Boxing Day test, Australia versus India in the probably 92, 93, I guess.
Really?
And it was because it was the last test before aggregation, because up until that time, we were chartered with, we had to cover them all.
I see.
Until the satellite became available to everyone.
Okay.
And so we were sitting there with all of our positions right next to the Channel 9 positions.
Okay.
Everything duplicated.
Okay, everyone had their
coverage
spot.
And we did ours. And
really?
The 9 guy and I were doing the end on camera in the members, and we looked at each other. We swapped for a session without telling our directors.
I was going to say, did you do that? I mean, were the protocols similar enough to sort of be able to...
the shots are all the same. Just the camera numbering and, some of their terminology, but worded each other up and it was fine.
Oh,
no
that's
one knew
brilliant.
the difference.
Oh, that's a great story. That's a great industry story. I love it. Yeah, that would just take it would make things just that little bit more interesting.
Somewhere. The ID pass for it.
Okay.
The series,
Well, that would ameliorate the boredom. Remember the boredom? Yes.
Cricket's fairly boring to cover.
Oh, yeah. Watch the grass grow, I suppose. Yeah.
It'd be boring to be there. Just be there.
I think,
being in the members would be all right with the long bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the members. Both my sons are members.
It's very pleasant in there.
Okay.
One of my sons is not at all keen on cricket. He tends to spend more time at the long bar.
Okay.
I'm not surprised.
Makes good sense. Well, fellas, I'll play you this little bit of cast history. It's from Radio Australia from the 50s. This is off an acetate, which I don't know where it came from, how it emerged, but I dubbed it off a while ago, and it's all over the place. But it is something might have a little bit of remote interest, probably from the 50s. See what you think. It's very, very scratched up.
This is Radio Radio Australia, saying good evening to our friends in the United States and Canada, and good morning to our friends in South Africa. This is Radio Australia calling in the overseas service and beginning the fourth transmission of the North American and South African service. In Eastern Australia, it's Wednesday, the 6th of April. We are transmitting to North America from VLA5, 15.32 megacycles, VLB8, 21.60 megacycles, and VLG6, 15.24 megacycles, second in the 13 and 19 meter bands. Also from VLC9, 17.84 megacycles in the 16 meter band for shortwave listeners in South Africa. Here is the news read to you now by Jim Seacon. The President of the Vietnam Republic, Dr. Ho Chi Minh, has stated at a press interview that the Vietnamese will appeal to the United Nations for arbitration if France cannot settle the present conflict in Indochina by peaceful means. He said the fighting was affecting very seriously the economy of the country. Dr. Ho Chi Minh said that the coal production in Indochina was down a fifth and rice production to a quarter of normal output. Questioned on what terms the Vietnamese government would halt hostilities, Dr. Ho Chi Minh said that Vietnamese wanted independence and unity amongst the Amanese-speaking states of Cochinchina, Annam, and Tonkin. Meanwhile, the commander of French troops in Tonkin, General Louis Moriere, has arrived in Paris to discuss the Indochina situation with the French government. Great Britain has challenged Australia to a return radio chess match. A date in July is suggested. The Australian Chess Federation will try to arrange the number one game to be played on the board between Lars Steiner, champion of Australia, and Alexander, the English champion. The match between New Zealand and Australia on April the 10th and 11th will be played by cable. Steiner, who was born in Hungary, now lives in Sydney, but is at present in Europe. In June, he will play a master chess tourney in Czechoslovakia. The Australian representatives on UNESCO have been asked by a New South Wales organisation to urge the establishment in Australia of a village where destitute European orphans would be educated and rehabilitated.
I don't think there's much more. I think that's it. Maybe.
Well, it certainly dates itself with the, the names and the...
Yeah.
Yes, like, the Ho Chi Minh.
Oh, I know. That's it. So was that in Indochina? Was that Vietnam War?
Yeah.
It must be. Yeah. So
That was very, very pointed, wasn't it?
yes, it was. So must be mid-60s, I suppose. Early 60s. Now, when did that all come about? It's sort of at the beginning, really, isn't it?
Possibly 50s.
Okay.
Because it was talking about the French, the ending of the French occupation stuff too in Vietnam, which was predated the Vietnamese War.
That's
the
right,
Vietnam
it did.
War. Because there
Interesting.
was a huge French influence in there for a long time.
Okay. Interesting. And how about the chess match, intercontinental chess? That's pretty...
Yeah, Czechoslovakia as opposed to the Czech Republic.
Yeah, that's it. So...
I'd like to follow that up. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it could be interesting to sort of see what see if we can get a date on it. 6th of April, I think, Wednesday. So I suppose you could narrow it down. Yeah, but intercontinental chess. We had a relative in Kate's family.
Via the cable.
Yeah, via the cable. Try chess via cable. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah, but we had a relative in Kate's family who lived in Germany, and he used to play intercontinental chess on a little chessboard, and they'd send one move off and the little board would go via the ship. The next person would make a move, and they'd send it back. So it'd take about 10 years to play a game of chess. How's that for crazy? So, they did things in slow motion back then. Just imagine a 6-week trip back on sailing boat, probably, back to, or steamer, back to Britain, or back to the continent, and then another move, and then you send the board back.
I knew a bloke who'd been a prisoner of war. It was a kid. He told me, I'd met him, and he told me that they didn't have any facilities, but he had the facility to play a game of chess in his head.
Oh.
And he met another guy who could do another POW, And they played these games in their heads with each
Oh,
other.
my God, a coping mechanism. That is extraordinary.
I know.
That really is extraordinary. It's just, I suppose, if you're in a desperate circumstance, you just find systems, wouldn't you? You just have to find something.
Yeah, you just do what you can.
Yeah. Oh, that is totally remarkable.
But how they would keep the board in their head.
Oh, that's it. They must have just had a whole visual concept, the three-dimensional sort of notion of the whole thing.
Wonderful visual memory, yeah.
Yeah, totally amazing. That is just extraordinary. I know that if I'm really, really bored and I'm sitting at an official event and I'm having to sit somewhere a bit prominent and I can't move and can't read or can't sort of surreptitiously do something else, aka school events, I often don't close my eyes, but I'll play a substantial piece of music as or movement of bark or a part of a suite, and just actually play it in real time and physically feel it, think it, hear it in my head. And that's a coping mechanism for me when things are just terminally boring.
I read somewhere that is actually good for practice.
Yeah,
not as good, obviously not as good as doing it, but it does have practice value.
Yes, I agree. And I think there's research to show that elite athletes, can actually rehearse their events in their minds.
Yes.
And it has some bearing on their physicality as well.
Certainly.
Which I think is just extraordinary. It just shows the power of the imagination, really, in being able to, make these connections. Yeah, but interesting stuff. Yeah, I'll have to practice that technique more because I think it's a great way to pass time when things are really, really boring.
I do word games in my head.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, it's a good idea.
The word game where you change one word into another word.
Yes.
By altering one letter at a time. You've got to have a word each time.
Wow. That's pretty complex, Frank. It's amazing.
4-letter words. It's not too bad.
Yeah, but still, that's impressive.
You develop techniques. There are various techniques.
Okay. Wow. So you just set yourself a prompt and then just sort of go from there.
Yeah.
Wowsy. Oh, that's great. All right. Well, 5 letters, I think. It's a few more letters in this title. This is an old Imperial 78 from the 20s shelf, and I just can't recall hearing this before, so keen to sample it. It's called Bee's Knees, and I think it's with the original Memphis 5. So it might go back to 1924. It might be acoustic, it may be electric, I'm not sure, but we'll sample and see. So back to the day, an Imperial record. Don't see these very often, but they're good fun. And we are in gear. Okay, well, that's quite a surprise, that record. I immediately dialed it up when it began because it sounded, it just had some striking originality about it. And yeah, I can't believe this. It just doesn't seem right, but I've checked it with about 3 sources. That was recorded, would you believe, in 1922.
Wow.
Really early. And
It's an acoustic.
yeah, it's certainly acoustic recording, but some really quite prominent breaks, instrumental breaks there, and it did have a ragtime vibe about it, which sort of contextualised a little bit, but it did swing a bit too. So, yeah, apparently Phil Napoleon's the trumpet player on that. Wow, Charlie Panelli on the trombone, but this is from that earlier period, and it's music in transition.
What's the group called?
The original Memphis 5.
Okay.
Yeah, so Memphis a long time before Elvis. I don't know if Elvis. I don't think Elvis was even.
There.
No Graceland in 1922. In fact, I don't know if Elvis was even born in 1922.
No, I don't think he was.
Maybe not. I'll just.
Certainly wasn't.
Yeah, it's pretty early, but that's quite a surprise. I want to see what's on the other side. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's a great name for a song. It's called "You've Got to See Mammy Every Night."
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is vk3sl.
Yeah, and vk3sl testing. Yeah, and so you've got to see Mammy Every Night. Samuels and his orchestra, whoever they were. Well, we'll just find out. Put it on. Let's have a listen to this record, apparently from 1922, on an old Imperial budget record.
Every night, oh, you can't see Mama at all. You gotta kiss Mama, treat her right, or she won't be home when you call. If you want my company, you can't see me. You gotta see Mama every night, oh, you can't see Mama at all. Monday night I sat alone. Tuesday night, why you didn't phone. Wednesday night you didn't call. Thursday night, why the same old stall. Friday night you dodged my path. Saturday night, oh, you took your bath. Sunday night you called on me, but you brought 3 girls for company.
And that was Joe Samuels and his orchestra, who were indeed a group. It's not a pseudonym, and that record, yes, dates back to the same year, 1922.
Oh,
so early days.
that was good.
Yeah, Arthur Hall, apparently. I just did a quick dial-up on that, and yeah, he was the vocalist. He was sort of a big vaudeville man, but he, yeah.
Banjo Picker did a good job.
They
didn't
did, yeah, really good. I love this transition stuff. I hear these records and you can hear the future unfolding. They're just pushing boundaries a bit. but there was something about the clarity and the energy in the playing, particularly the breaks, those little syncopated breaks. They didn't yet have improvisatory zeal, and like the black musicians did, but you can hear that the inspirations is there.
Foreshadowing what was to come.
Absolutely, in every way. So, yeah, always fascinating. That proto-jazz idiom is great to exploit. Yay. Well, while I was sort of doing a little bit of a couch repose this afternoon, I've actually been pretty busy this morning. I've been tweaking up this home theatre thing, and I have to say it's exceeded all expectations. It sounds bloody fantastic. It's amazing space. So that's all come to the fore. So we're going to be watching lots of concerts this year. So look forward to that. And we did some samples, and the quals are just incredible. So that's an exciting new tangent, but just tweaking the space has been a part of it, and now that's done, we'll have it there and ready for the next thing. But look, in between, I just sat down with the tablet, with the iPad, and I struck upon a film, a Pathé newsreel of Al Bowlly singing in about 1934. And, oh my God, I'd just forgotten how much I like Al Bowlly's voice. He was so musical, so just natively musical.
Yeah, he was. He was a good singer.
Yeah, he just had a beautiful turn of phrase, and he really felt his lyrics, and there was a emotional investment in the music.
In South Africa.
Yeah. Well, look, I was reading about it. He lived in South Africa, but apparently his father was Greek and his mother was Lebanese.
Good God.
Yeah, so that's
interesting.
It is. It's a really interesting ethnic mix, and he'd spent. I think he grew up in South Africa, and as a young person, he sort of had some experience mainly playing the guitar. That's what he sort of did. I think he worked as a barber's shop assistant or something in the First World War era, and learnt the guitar, taught himself, and then from that. People realised he was really gifted with the vocals, and just went from strength to strength. But he started off making records in Berlin, and I'll play one shortly, which is just absolutely fascinating. And then as soon as he hit the big time in London by the late 1920s, he was recording all day and all night. All day and night, and made over 1,000 records in about 3 years.
You're joking.
Yeah, it just is so prolific. He could learn the music very quickly.
He made his really popular stuff with Ray Noble.
Yes, indeed. Ray Noble had the house band for HMV, or for the gramophone company, and they were just a recording band, but they just basically formed to put out the hits, and he was their resident vocalist. But then he went to, who was it? Was it Lou Stone? He was working with another band in the evenings. I think it was Lou Stone. Yeah. Anyhow, it was. He was working with during the day with Ray Noble, and then I think it was Lou Stone in the evenings. So he just had this sort of very intense recording career, and that's why there's so many Al Bowlly discs around. But he maintained his quality right through, and then tragically died in the First and Second World War. He was. Yeah, he wasn't even marked. A bomb went outside, or a mine went outside his bedroom window, and the door blew open, and the door hit his head.
Oh no!
And killed him instantly. So it's really sad. But they say he was unblemished. But that occurred.
His brains knocked.
Yeah, just gave him a really big whack.
Terrible.
Isn't that sad? Yeah, and there's a bit of a backstory about that, because he wasn't supposed to be there. I mean, he was supposed to be. They'd offered him a spot in the, in the shelters, the bomb shelters. Yeah. And he refused, and it was to his detriment. But and he made a recording almost a couple of days before, and I'll play that a bit later on as well. So there's a bit of. I thought I might do a little expose on Al Bowlly. I've always enjoyed his music, but I didn't know much about his life. No. But look, I'll kick off with this British Pathé newsreel, and I commend it to people who want to sort of see the artist in action. He's beautiful to watch, and he's got a natural way and he exudes musicality in his body language as well as his singing. He's a beautiful man. So anyhow, here he is with his resident pianist, who I'll find out shortly what his name is, the beautiful piano player too. And they're singing their rendition of Melancholy Baby, recorded in 1934 for a Pathé newsreel.
I just want to say hello to everybody over here. My first number will be Melancholy Baby. Thank you, Morgan. Go right ahead. Come to me, my melancholy baby. Just cuddle up and don't be blue. All your fears are foolish fancy made. You know, honey, I'm in love with you. Every cloud must have its silver lining. So wait until that sun shines through. Smile, my honey dear, while I kiss away each tear. Or else I shall be melancholy too. Come, sweetheart mine, don't sit and pine. Tell me of the cares that make you feel so blue. I'm sorry, hon, what have I done? Have I ever said an unkind word? My love is true, and just for you, I'll do almost anything at any time. Dear, when you sigh or when you cry, something seems to grip this very heart of mine. Come to me, my melancholy baby. Just cuddle up and don't be blue. All your fears are foolish fancy, maybe. Why, you know, honey, I'm in love with you. Every cloud must have its silver lining. Oh, so wait until the sun shines through. Smile, my honey dear, while I kiss away each tear. Or else I shall be melancholy too. Thank you very much.
And there we have it, Al Boldy. And yeah, with his resident pianist, and still I have not been able to, a guy called Messen. Anyhow, but yeah, they did a beautiful rendition there, I thought. I do like his voice. I like its timbre. And
it's a nice voice, isn't
it
it?
is, and it's his native musicianship. He's just got something, he really feels it. There's something personally invested.
Nice little bit of improv there and there.
Yeah. I mean, he's not a jazz singer or anything.
No. But it was just a nice variant.
Yeah, it is. I'll just play a few. Here we go. Here is, I can play his very first. His very first is not that easy to listen to, actually, but it's there. I'll play it. It's recorded in Berlin in 1927, if I can find it, because I've been listening to Suddenly Went on a Roll and listened to lots and lots of Al Boldy, so there's lists of them here. I just got to find the right one. 1927 was where it happened, and we're getting there. Sorry, folks, this is bad organising here. I haven't really done my diligence. It's Elizalde. Oh God, can't find it now. That's terrible. Sorry, folks. Leading Up the Garden Path. There's just so many recordings here,
Just while you're finding
Yeah, please talk to me.
just a little bit of trivia about the missions.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s, there was a guy on the coffee break called vk3sl was his call sign.
Yes.
His name was Al Bowley.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure, certainly it was Al, and I'm pretty sure it was Al Bowley.
Oh, my gosh.
And he was referred to in Missionish as the singer.
Oh, really? As the singer? I love it. Oh, I'll have to refer to the Missions Dictionary and check that one. It's fantastic.
You, I'm sure, would verify.
Yeah, the singer. What happened to him, Mr. Bowley? I can recall hearing that discussed, actually, in some of the archives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I must have raised that one with Mr. Stew when I catch up with him. Okay. Is it Blue Skies? I think it's Blue Skies. These are muffle missions. They're not good recordings. They're made in Berlin in rather average circumstances, but this is where it all began for Mr. B, playing the ukulele and singing. Very modest. Blue Skies. And I'm vk3sl.
Smiling at me, nothing but blue sky do I see. Bluebirds singing a song, nothing but bluebirds all day long. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by, when you're in love, my how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies from now on. I was blue, just as blue as I could be. Every day was a cloudy day for me. Till good luck came a-knocking at my door. Skies were gray, but they're not gray anymore. Smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Blue birds singing a song, nothing but blue birds all day long. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by, when you're in love, my how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies from now on. Blue skies up above.
Well, there we have the Blue Skies, and it's a great song, beautiful tune. I love the melodic shape of Blue Skies.
Yeah, lovely. Berlin, I think.
Yes, I think it is, and that's
that
pretty
lovely sort of Jewish feel.
Oh, it does, absolutely, it does. Yeah. Oh, and that was the very first recording that Al Bolly made in early 1927, and it sort of went from strength to strength after that.
I think I've ever heard the verse to.
Yes, you don't usually hear that, do you?
No.
No, and it's usually sort of has a very different context, of course, with modern jazz combos and such.
Yeah.
But nice to hear it in its original incarnation. Now, another one he recorded around about the same time, also in Europe, was Muddy Water. Also, it's called a Mississippi Moan, and Crosby recorded this at exactly the same time. In fact, I should back them, just to sort of, because they were both the premier crooners of their time.
Yeah.
Al Bolly was the big cheese in Europe and in London, and Crosby, of course, was just overwhelming the American public. And they both recorded Muddy Water in 1927 as their first record, or almost their first records. I think this is the second one Bolly made, and I think it's number 2 or 3 for Crosby as well. So just to sort of put this into a little context, I'll back-to-back them. I'll see if I can find the other one as well. But we'll listen to the Bolly one first, his take on Muddy Water.
Muddy water in the street, muddy water in the sea. Just don't shelter down on the delta. Muddy water in my shoes, rocky to those low down blues. They live in ease and comfort down there, I declare. In a way, a year today to wander and roam. I don't care, it's muddy there, but still it's my home. I've got my toast Dixie way in that delta, let me lay. My heart cries out for muddy water. Dixie moonlight, funny shores, heading homebound just once more to my Mississippi Delta home. Southland has a garden spot, and if you believe or not, I hear those breezes whispering, come on back to me. I've got my toast Dixie way in that delta, let me
Muddy water round my feet, muddy water in the street, just God's own shelter down on the delta. Muddy water in my shoes, rocking to those low down blues. They live in ease and comfort down there, I declare. Been away a year today to wander and roam. I don't care, it's muddy there, but still it's my home. Got my toes turned Dixie way, round that delta let me lay. My heart cries out for muddy water.
Two versions of Muddy Water, Mississippi Moan, and we just heard one of Bing Crosby's very first records. I think it's number 2, the second one he made, and likewise with Al Bowley. But I do love the Crosby version of that. I just think it's one of the great records of its age.
Yeah, it is.
He really captures the spirit with that wonderful improvised violin solo by Joe Venuti behind him. That's with the Whiteman Orchestra, just before Bix joined. But yeah, that was it's a classic, and the Bowley one's a rarity and just sort of a provincial European recording, hence the quality. Yeah. But I just thought it'd be nice to hear these two big name crooners in sharp relief.
Very nice.
With no judgment, yeah. But interestingly, that Fred Elizalde in London, who is just this remarkable young talent, band leader, musician, and he was forming bands at the Savoy Hotel in London and other established venues. He got to hear that recording of Muddy Water we just heard with Al Bowley, and which was recorded in Berlin, and he got to hear that and was utterly awestruck by Al Bowley's voice, and invited him to London, and then the rest of it's history really for Al Bowley. But the recordings that Al Bowley made with Elizalde are just striking. They're so exciting, and probably the best of them, I think, is Misery Farm, and I want to find any excuse to play this record. Jamie came along and had the original of it. He brought along, you might remember, Frank.
Yes.
He brought the original of this, and it's such a priceless disc, and it's got the hottest 20s writing I think I've ever heard, ensemble writing after the vocal chorus. And this is a testimony to Fred Elizalde's just talent, amazing arranging and just foresight. He's picking up the best influence from Europe and from US and just sort of creating something larger than life. No one understood it, and the band was given the sack from the Savoy Hotel, and I think he eventually went back to the Philippines.
You've piqued my interest.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Just what happens after the vocal chorus. I mean, it's of its time, and amazing stuff happened afterwards. But just the complexity of the writing is just breathtaking. But look, Al Bolly's vocal before that too is also sets the scene really well. So let's hear Fred Elizalde and his music, Misery Farm, which is a take on Leslie Saroni's Jollity Farm. It's sort of a parody, really. Right. So, yeah, anyhow, let's cut to the chase.
We've got a farm of a farm, right in the middle of a swamp. There ain't any charm in our little farm, right in the middle of the swamp. Nothing's grown since the day we came. Misery farm is our farm name. We're miserable souls, miserable down on Misery farm. So are the animals, so are the vegetables down on Misery farm. The hens won't play, we can't make hay. We work all day and we get no pay. We're miserable souls, miserable down on Misery farm.
Probably the hottest record ever made in Britain.
Supercharged, all right.
It's supercharged. That trumpet solo, 3 trumpets in close, sharp relief,
I know.
is just staggering. It all started with Don Redger. In fact, there's some comments, there's paragraphs written, there's so much written about this record. It's sort of heralded as one of the most important of its kind, particularly being in America, in England.
In England, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the sort of thing you'd expect to hear in the States.
Yeah, well, see, this whole concept was of sort of close arranging of parts, and Boswell sisters did it supremely.
Oh, of course.
But it all came from Don Redman, who was a black musician, of course, and who we've featured a lot in recent weeks.
Yeah, no, he's terrific.
Yeah, Don Redman, who worked with the Fletcher Henderson Band.
Yep.
Anyhow, but look, I'll read out what it says here because it does sort of put it into context, and it heralds something that I sort of hold really close when I'm listening to these early recordings. I listen for the hot elements and the and really interesting orchestration. It says these hot choruses were popular in the late 20s. Don Redman was probably the first arranger to employ them with his famous clarinet trios written for the Fletcher Henderson Orchestra starting in 1924. Hot choruses for trumpets were developed by Bill Challis when he was arranger with the Goldcat Orchestra and later with the Paul Whiteman Band. And of course, Bill Challis, his hot arrangements are all based on annotated Bix Beiderbecke improvisations. And we've had a lot of those. We've played countless Bill Challis, Whiteman, Bix-inspired ensemble quips of that kind. And it goes on to say this chart used on the Elizalde recording is a reworked stock arrangement with the addition of the hot chorus for the trumpets. I do not know who the arranger of this trumpet chorus is for sure, but it may have been Adrian Rollini. Now, this is significant because Adrian Rollini was on all those Bix records. He went to Britain for just a short period in 1928 and featured on that record. You could hear the bass saxophone. Rollini was a very good arranger. And this was one of his key roles within the Elizalde band. He's also known to have written hot trumpet choruses. So, and yeah, it goes on and on and on. There's just so much written about this. I might play that bit again, just that bit, because it is so exciting and so just involving, and then we'll move somewhere else. I'll just go back to the end of the chorus. And what's interesting was Adrian Rollini ushers it in on the bass sax. Yeah. Here we go. I'll just go back a bit further. Okay, folks, that's got that out of my system.
Very good. No, it's worth hearing.
Thank you for your indulgence. Yes, I just find that very compelling. It's just so forward-looking. And it's sort of, when you think of it, what happened in the swing era and beyond, that sort of close arranging of, it was just really important part of the textual idea. But yeah, well, we'll hear something a bit novelty-ish now, and this is a recording with Howard Godfrey and his Waldorfians. And again with Mr. Bowley, I'll play a couple more Bowleys. This one is My Canary Has Circles Under His Eyes.
Oh, yeah.
here's some news. You can print it if you choose, just to prove the times have changed a lot. Though it may sound strange to you, it is absolutely true. You can believe it or not. Since making whoopee became all the rage, it's even got to the old bird cage. My canary has circles under his eyes. I thought he'd never do anything wrong. Now he does snake hips the whole day long. And my canary has circles under his eyes. His only pals are the yellow lark and just a tiny sparrow. But I'm afraid when he's in the park, he leaves us straight and narrow. I've raised this bird in a manner so strict, yet I've a feeling I'm being tricked, 'cause my canary has circles under his eyes.
Recorded on the Piccadilly label back in about 1929, and Al Bowley with Howard Godfrey and his Wadolphians.
Who was the group that later on had it? Was it Captain Matchbox?
Oh yeah, they did a great version of this.
Did.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to dial it up because we need offsets. You know, Al Bowley's great, but we need offsets.
That's the one I identify with.
Yes, Captain Matchbox and his Whoopee Band, and with Dave Hubbard and Mr. Conway, My Canary. Here it is. Oh, yeah, they're all stoned on this, but it's marvellous. It's an ABC. This is off the TV, but you can see that they're just sort of so out of it. But it has got ambience, and they reinvigorated this song. It's such a great song, and but I think this is the version that really gets the big tick. Yes, Captain Matchbox and his Whoopee Band in 1970 Mumble.
Here's some news. You can print it if you choose, just to show that times have changed a lot. Though it may sound strange to you, it is absolutely true. You can believe it or not. Since making whoopee became all the rage, it's even got into the old bird cage. My canary has circles under his eyes, under his eyes. He used to whistle a brisker song, now he just snake hips the whole day long. My canary has circles under his eyes. His only pals are the meadowlark, just a tiny sparrow. But I'm afraid when he's in the park, he leaves the straight and narrow. I raised this bird in a manner so strict, now I feel certain I'm being tricked. My canary has circles under his eyes. straight and narrow. I raised this bird in a manner so strict. Now I feel certain I'm being tricked. My canary has circles under his eyes. Whoopee became all the rage. That's even got into the old bird cage. My canary has circles under his eyes. My canary has circles under his eyes.
in a purple haze from the album Smoke Dreams.
What year was that?
I think it's 72.
Yes, I remember it's early 70s.
Yeah, and they're all Jesus wannabes. They got their beards and their long hair and their caftans, and there's a waft of smoke. Oh, I love it. There's some marvellous stuff from ABC TV of the Captain Matchbox band up on the tube. Oh, I just think they're amazing. And of course, Mick Conway's still going strong. He's done...
Really?
Yeah, he's doing all sorts of things. He does sort of revival stuff. He does kids stuff. And he's just this sort of amazing force of energy.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah, so he's in his 70s or 80s now.
Have to be sort of well 70s. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So I don't really want to go back to Al Bolly after hearing that.
Changes the mood a little bit.
It does. It's good though. It's really good. Oh, here's another one. Your feet's too big. This is brilliant. This is really good. Yes. This is a Fat Swallow. Fat Swallow classic. We'll finish out
a Fat song, I think.
Yeah, it is definitely. We'll continue.
Wrote it.
We'll continue. I think you did
because your feet's too big.
That's right. Exactly. I think it's classic Fats, really. Yeah, but we'll hear the Captain Matchbox version. Your feet's too big. Let's go for it. He's playing the piano with his toes.
Up at a cafe, at a table for two. There were four of us, me, your big feet, and you, yeah. From here, club, I see sure are sweet, but from them down, there's just too much feet. Yes, your feet's too big. No one to cause your feet's too big. Man, to cause your feet's too big. I really hate you, cause your feet's too big, yeah. Honeymooner, howdy-yada. Where'd you get up? Howdy-yada. The girl she likes you, she thinks so nice. Know what it takes to be in paradise. She just likes your face, she likes your ring. Man, oh man, them things are too big. Yes, your feet's too big. No one to cause your feet's too big. Matter to cause your feet's too big. I really hate you, cause your feet's too big. Now, yeah, talk to me now. Yes, really are obnoxious, yeah.
Oh, there we have it.
Having a lot of fun.
They're really rollicking. The Captain Matchbox Whoopee Band from the early 70s, courtesy of Oz TV, that's ABC TV, which is just wonderful that these films are up. Yeah, look, after hearing that, we're going to hear the original from 1939, Fat Swatter and his rhythm, In the Groove.
Who's that walking around here? Mercy. Sounds like baby patter. Baby elephant patter, that's what I calls it. Say, up in Harlem, at a table for two, there were 4 of us, me, your big feet, and you. From your ankle up, I'll say you sure are sweet. From there down, there's just too much feet. Yes, your feet's too big. Don't want you 'cause your feet's too big. Can't use you 'cause your feet's too big. I really hate you 'cause your feet's too big. Yeah. Where'd you get 'em? Your girl, she likes you. She thinks you're nice. Got what it takes to be in paradise. She said she likes your face. She likes your rig. Man, oh man, them things are too big. Oh, your feet's too big. Don't want you 'cause your feet's too big. Mad at you 'cause your feet's too big. I hate you 'cause your feet's too big. My goodness, gun to gun boots. Shift. All your pedal extremities are colossal. To me, you look just like a fossil. You got me walking, talking, and squawking, 'cause your feet too big, yeah. Come on and walk that thing. Oh, I never heard of such walking. Mercy. Your pedal extremities really are obnoxious. One never knows, do one?
Everything Fats did is musical, isn't it? Everything just flows. It just has...
It's so natural.
It is. It's just... I don't think he would have rehearsed anything. He just would have...
I don't think so.
No, he just walked in there and...
Need to.
No, never. It's just sort of innate. It's a part of him. It's a natural expression. Yeah.
All top stuff.
It is. It's wonderful. I love hearing that recording and also hearing the Matchbox tribute.
Yeah, that's terrific too.
Yeah, it's good. I want to hear some more Captain Matchbox. In fact, I can do another referral here. Of course, one of my favourite songs of theirs and another one from ABC TV. And I refer people to these. They're up there on the tube and the band are off their faces, but they seem to still do it well. And they're having the time of their lives. And one of their big hits was Nagasaki.
Oh, yeah.
Captain Matchbox Whoopee Band.
I know it.
Back in Nagasaki, where the fellas chew tobacco and the women wakey wacky woo.
Hot gingerbread and dynamite, there ain't nothing supposed to be denied.
Back in Nagasaki, where the fellas chew tobacco and the women wakey wacky woo.
Can't wait to entertain hurricane that can hurry a hurricane. Back in that sack with a bus, you're back in the moon, make it whack, woo. But your mama, then troubles increase. Supper gutter, she oughta soda, 6 cooks, 6 10 cents a piece. They hug and kiss each night, my chicken boy, it's worth the price. Back in that sack with a bus, you're back in the moon, make it whack, woo.
Oh, they did it with a blonde. Mick Conway with long hair past his shoulders. Oh. And now he's just, I don't think he's got any hair anymore. But yeah, I love it. They're on fire. They're Matchbox Band, and there's lots of them on the tube, and they're still going, and they're doing amazing things. And thank you, Frank, for bringing that up, because that was just what I wanted to hear. Yes,
certainly a different take on it.
Oh, that's just so good. And now, look, the original of that song was voiced by Billy Costello, his story is
the Popeye Man.
Yeah, the Popeye Man. Now, his is a case of someone with just a bit too much ego, and
he believed his own publicity.
He did. There's a story here, I'll tell it. He started off as a vaudeville performer under the name of Red Pepper Sam in the 20s, and he also played drums with Fred Waring's Pennsylvanians, and you often hear him on a lot of Fred Waring's records. You hear Popeye's voice well before the Popeye cartoon started.
Really?
Yeah, there's stacks of them. You just hear it all the time. He's one of the singers, one of the comic singers.
Yeah.
But he got a gig with Fleischer Studios as the voice of Gus the Gorilla on the Betty Boop radio show, and they felt that the raspy voice he had used for that character would work well for a series of cartoons based on Popeye.
Yeah.
And he was cast to provide the voice for the first Popeye cartoon, 1933's Popeye the Sailor. And Costello then appeared in the next 24 Popeye shorts before he was fired by Fleischers, allegedly over, quote, bad behaviour. Although he never received on-screen credit, Costello knew of Popeye's international popularity and reputedly became difficult to work with, demanding more money and days off in the middle of a recording session.
My God.
He was replaced by Jack Mercer, who was working in the studio, and his final appearance was 1935. However, Costello wasn't prepared to give up the fame associated with voicing Popeye and billed as the original voice of Popeye, which you see on record labels in the 30s. He voiced the character of a European stage tour and made several recordings for Columbia, Decca and Rex.
Oh boy,
and
the original Popeye.
Yeah, so he sort of kept it and he sort of riffed with it. And but yeah, I think it was a diminishing the returns thing. From 1959 to his death, he managed a trailer park in San Jose.
Oh,
and he died in 1971.
Yeah.
And yes, it says here he was largely forgotten by the time of his death.
That's the trouble.
It's the thing, yeah. So he really gave the Popeye thing a really good push. But one of the records he did make in that sort of interim period, shortly after he did the cartoons, when he was making those recordings, trying to sort of pick up on his fame, was Nagasaki, and that's the version which they based the Captain Matchbox on. And I've got the 78 here on the shelf, but it's much easier to find it online. It's here, but it's the same. And but it's a good track, and it's just as manic, and you can see why. What happened to him? It all makes sense. I'll just go back to the start, so we're on board. Slow start, sorry folks.
Into dynamite, there's nothing but that at night. Back next second by the fellows to the back of the women with the waggy. What they can entertain would hurry a hurricane. Back next second by the fellows to the back of the women with the waggy. Oh, beauty hammer, get a mama, and then your troubles increase. It's on the phone when she ought to told us. You take milkshake 10 cents a piece. They're tipped and hung a knife. Why, jingle, it's worth the price. Back next second by the fellows to the back of the women with the waggy.
Ah, boy, hot ginger dynamite. There's nothing but that at night. Back next second by the fellows to the back of the women make you wacky, woo. The way they can entertain, boy, who'd hurry that hurricane? Second when the fellas shoot it back in the women make you wacky, woo. Oh, Susie, I must get a mama, boy, they get bubbled and sweet. Some go go, she order soda, you take milkshake, 10 cents a piece. Let's get to that other night. One jingle was worth the price. Second when the fellas shoot it back in the women make you wacky, woo. Oh, that's so you play the money, that's not much. I like that. Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Hot ginger dynamite, there's nothing but that at night. Back that thing when I shoot it back in the women make it waggy woo. When they get down the train, boy, who'd hurry that hurricane? Next thing when I shoot it back in the women make it waggy woo.
Oh, Susie, I'm up, get a mama, and then your trouble is free. Boy, I'm over, she ought to tell us, give up, give up, give up, give up. Give up, give up, give up, give up, give up, give up,
Yeah, I get a sort of an idea why he might have been hard to work with.
Yeah, I know. He's kind of out of control.
It's hypomania, I think.
Yeah. It's a very... He's actually singing two notes at once.
Yeah.
In two octaves.
Yes, he's sort of... I don't know what he's doing.
No, but if you analyse it and take it apart, it is actually... He's actually singing two octaves. One octave above the other.
I wonder if he's sort of doing some weird multiphonic-y thing. It's the nature of the voice, isn't it? I
think it's just in the voice.
He's in the voice, yeah. Yes, you're getting a doubling effect.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah, extraordinary. Yeah, he's obviously very gifted in, if he'd sort
not everyone could do that.
No, not at all. And, if it sort of hung it together a bit more, he might have been able to sort of get up there with Mel Blanc and others.
Exactly right. He might have been able to adapt it to other things.
Yeah, he could have probably. Yeah,
it's possibly a one-trick pony.
Yeah, I think it
Mel
might
was
have
been anything but that.
Exactly, you're totally right. I think so. Yeah, I think it's the case. But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting phenomenon, and Billy Costello and his Maverick Plight.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's great. And look, I was trying to remember what the other side of that is. It's he made a few records, and when I saw that one, it in quotes it says the original Popeye. So he's obviously exploiting.
High value.
Yeah. Oh, look, he definitely, and energy, just raw energy. Yeah. It's compelling. Yeah. Anyhow, there we have it. The original Popeye. So what else? Oh, it's getting close to the end of the clock.
Yeah.
I want to I wouldn't mind playing another one of those Al Jasbo programs. I'm looking far and wide to see if I can find an elephant's vault of them, because there's someone somewhere must have
got a lot.
Yeah, because he was there's material of his right up until the 1990s.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and he was in his, I think, late 80s. He's slowed down a lot, but he was still doing programs.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah. So he sort of had long innings, but I just love his cool style.
Yeah.
And he just, when the record got stuck, well, he just made something like "Someone Grab That Cat." There's this really sort of nonchalant, and he was so cool and just so relaxed about everything that was happening. Oh, I love it. So I don't know. We'll see if we can find something else from that archive, but I might have to do something fillerish in between, because it's going to take me a minute to find it. So what have we got here? Well, I've got one here, but we played that the other day. Here we go. Another Fat Swaller. This could do it. We played Suitcase Susie the other day. What else is here? Last Night a Miracle Happened. That's a beautiful Fats song. And What a Pretty Miss.
Do it, eh?
Yeah, we'll play it last night. This is a slow ballad, and it's probably good to find an offset to what we've just heard. But it's just so sensitively sung, and yeah, this shows another side of Fat Swaller, really, and just demonstrates his innate musicianship once again. I'm vk3sl.
vk3jr on 2 meters.
Last night, the first time we met, the spell you cast lingers over me. Last night, a miracle happened. You smiled, and that was the thought. At once, I found myself losing my heart. Yes, I lose my heart, but I didn't mind. One moment, two strangers standing face to face. Face to face, I mean. Next moment, near to you, dear to you, locked in an endless embrace. Last night, a miracle happened. I know what I'm speaking of, because that miracle happened to be love. because that miracle happened to be love, yes, love.
Yeah, really beautiful song.
What a nice song.
Isn't it beautiful?
I've never heard it.
Yeah, special Fats Waller. And yeah, he's such a innate musician. He could just turn himself to anything and communicate directly. Yeah. Okay. Well, look, there's only 3 or 4 of these transcription records. They're called the Purple Grotto, and they were made for the Armed Forces Radio and Television Service back in the 50s. And I can only find 3. There probably is hundreds somewhere. Somewhere, and they it would be just wonderful to find them. I've looked on the Internet Archive, I've looked around, so if anyone wants to assist, if they can find them, I'd love to hear more. In fact, I'd love to refer them to Dave for his program.
Yeah, they'd be ideal, wouldn't
It'd be ideal for his...
he'd love it.
Yeah, he would. He'd really enjoy these.
Got that novelty edge that he likes.
Yes, absolutely, and slightly sardonic wit. It's just everything about it. Everything about Al Jasbos just cuts the mustard. So yeah, look, we'll play. We'll play one. I think this is the one I haven't played. I've played 2 of them, and I'm not entirely sure what I've played, what I haven't. But I think this is. It doesn't really matter. So we'll just hear this again or whatever, and then there's a couple of others which we'll save up for future missions, where sort of things he did later on and special sort of programs. So yeah,
looking forward to that.
Yeah, that would be really good too. So yeah, there's material there to be had. So thank you, Frank. Thank you,
Steve.
And thank you, listeners. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of the experience, our meander through the nostalgia thing. And yeah, we'll should be back on Friday for a late program. If I don't get back for late, if you don't hear from me, Frank, I haven't made it back, and we'll be coming back on Saturday instead. There's a possibility. It's a possibility that'll happen, but the plan is to return on Friday evening. So, but there certainly won't be any missions next Friday afternoon.
Right.
And then, but possibly Saturday, Sunday, we don't go to Inverloch until Monday. So that's the plan. So, yeah, anyhow, looking forward. We'll have a great week, everyone, and thank you. And until soon, I'm vk3sl.
I'm vk3jr is clear and listening.
Okay, all the best, Frank, and we'll catch you soon. Cheers for now.
Cheers.
Well, okay, if you're sure all those square clods have gone, it's you and me. We can play a couple of hip ones down here in the Purple Grotto. This is Al Collins, 3.5 stories under the main studios. Playing a few for you of the purple variety. And Harrison, our long-tailed purple Tasmanian owl, is here with his large orange eyes. And he has picked a goodly crop of sounds for your lobes. Lalo Schifrin directing and playing, of course, with his group, Those Swinging Centuries. This is on Verb. Really pretty material in here, and I wish we play the whole thing. That one was called The Wig. Yeah, it's really nice to have some stalactites and stalagmites in a purple cavern in a subterranean studio, but unless you got music like that, man, let's face it, it just turns into a grim basement. Now, let's see, we keep ourselves up to date here. See what's going on. Gee, I got a great written exposition on the hot dog, which I'll have to do some night, or some afternoon, or some morning. I didn't know the hot dog was, well, it arrived in this country in 1871, after its introduction in Austria and Germany. And Americans named the hot dog sizzling wieners and frankfurters, as hot dogs were known in those days. Wieners and frankfurters, those are the first two names they had. And they were too hot to handle. They served them right from the grill to your hand. In other words, in the early days when you bought a Frankfurter, they took it hot off the grill and handed it to you. No bun, no roll. And the guys that were working behind the grill there, well, what they did was they lent people who were eating Frankfurters white gloves to wear. But people kept the white gloves and took them home, and the cost of the gloves caused a sausage peddler from St. Louis to invent the bake-to-fit roll. And that's how come hot dogs got rolls. The first measure of solid popularity was at the St. Louis World's Fair. I can do more on that later. It's kind of fun. I have a song by Trini Lopez now.
Cuando se quiere de veras, como te quiero yo a ti, es imposible, mi cielo, tan separado vivir. Cuando se quiere de veras, como te quiero yo a ti, es imposible, mi cielo, tan separado vivir, tan separados vivir. Cuando se quiere de veras, como te quiero yo a ti, es imposible, mi cielo, tan separados vivir. Cuando se quiere de veras, como te quiero yo a ti, es imposible, mi cielo, tan separado vivir, tan separados vivir.
Trini Lopez and Yours. Here's Howard Roberts now, playing a little guitar, playing a lot of guitar. Howard Roberts on guitar. Fabulous beyond description. A Little Blues, Blue Flame by Irby Green on trombone with Woody Herman's orchestra. Here's Gary McFarland and his group. Yeah, that was Brother Jack McDuff. And when you hear Roy Clark playing a little blues on the guitar, can the Purple Grotto be so far? We're down here gazing deep into the bottomless pit tonight and getting some sounds. Getting some ground swells tonight. So I think we'll play a little something here in just a minute. As I said, or maybe I didn't, that was Red Norvo's quintet, a little vintage material. Everything I've got belongs to you.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Okay, that's it. Old Jasbo Collins Armed Forces radio show number 18, and I reckon there's an elephant archive out there of these programs. I'd love to find more. I really like old Jasbo Collins. We'll listen out for more. We'll find them. We'll feature them. Anyhow, all right. And a warm hello to Tanya and Vincent, who are listening in to the program. All right, we'll say cheerio for now. Happy New Year to all. If you haven't been in touch before, we've had a week of missions, haven't we? And should be back next weekend. Probably not next Friday afternoon, but Friday night, maybe, hopefully, and then the weekend, and then goodness knows. Thanks, folks. Catch you next time. I'm vk3sl.